So what's good, TMG fam? Listen, it's always good to hear somebody else's opinion on some of the things we've been talking about a lot. You know what I mean? Joe Rogan never shies away from his opinion on anything. So I'm anxious to hear this video. The title of this video is Joe Rogan Reacts to Lost Technology and Egypt's Great Pyramids of Giza. Right? Now, y'all know, have heard my opinion several times. I just think it's fascinating, and there's still so many questions surrounded. How did they get this done? How did they do this? You know what I mean? By hand, you know? And I give them as much credit as anybody. It's just hard in your mind to process them doing things by hand. So what type of technology did they have or possess that we don't know about? And then you have the theories of aliens. You know what I'm saying? So it's so many different ones out there. But like I said, I want to hear Joe Rogan's opinion as well. So we're going to get into this video. If you're new, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button. Join the family. And let's check this out.
The Great Pyramid of Giza is probably the most stunning of all these ancient structures. And the stones are immense, and some of them were cut from a quarry that's hundreds of miles away.
If you look at the famous King's Chamber, its walls and its roof are, the ceiling of the King's Chamber are all made with gigantic granite blocks.
Stunning detail.
Stunning detail.
Ancient Egypt, one of the most powerful and influential civilizations to have reigned in the region of North Africa, from around 3100 BC to 30 BC. This wealthy and influential civilization left behind several records and works of art that are still studied by academics today. But their most interesting legacy has got to be the massive pyramids in Giza. The iconic Great Pyramid of Giza, which is supposed to have been built with more than 2.3 million limestones and graphite, is over 450 feet tall. It's one of the most spectacular pyramids ever built. However, not everyone is easily enthralled by its majesty. To some scholars, the Pyramid of Giza isn't just another stark reminder of how this once powerful civilization glorified life after death. To them, understanding how this structure came to be could provide answers to some of humanity's most puzzling questions. Hello there, and welcome back to Factnominal. In today's video, we react to the mystery of the Great Pyramid of Giza and its lost technology. Lost technology. You see, it is well acknowledged by mainstream archaeologists that most of the stones used in building the massive structure were chiseled from a quarry hundreds of miles further from where Giza was erected. And the walls and roof of the famous King's Chamber are made up of graphite blocks, each of which weighs up to 70 tons. The question is, how did the ancient Egyptians transport these stones so quickly, so efficiently, and with such rudimentary means that they most often end up building the pyramid during the reign of its associated pharaoh?
I don't care who you are, 70 tons, bro. And it ain't just one, so that's a lot, That's a lot. Did I say it's a lot? That's a lot. You know what I mean? Just hearing 70 tons.
That they most often end up building the pyramid during the reign of its associated pharaoh. Well, Joe Rogan, in a recent podcast with two scholars, Graham Hancock and Randall Carlson, tries to tackle this dilemma.
The Great Pyramid of Giza is probably the most stunning of all these ancient structures. And the stones are immense, and some of them were cut from a quarry that's hundreds of miles away. How do you think they did that?
Well, some of them, the granite in the Great Pyramid comes from more than 500 miles to the south. If you look at the famous King's Chamber, its walls and its roof are, the ceiling of the King's Chamber are all made with gigantic granite blocks.
Stunning detail.
Stunning detail. Those blocks on the roof of the King's Chamber weigh 70 tons each. Now, Egyptologists will tell you that, they could move heavy blocks because they put them on wet sand and they push them along on wet sand. Well, maybe if you're just at ground level, that will do. But when you're 350 feet above the ground, as you are in the King's Chamber, that won't do at all.
So, how did they do it? Are we missing something here? Surely we have too. Because from archaeological records, the only tools to have been discovered to be used by the ancient Egyptians were no more than chiseled stones, wooden mallets, stone hammers, all of which are on display in the Cairo Museum in Egypt.
Now, this is what I'm saying. Look at these hand tools. Look at these hand tools, bro. And like I said before, man, no disrespect at all. I'll walk out in the street right now and throw my hat off and salute them. That's how much respect I have for ancient civilization and what they were able to do and accomplish. But looking at these tools right here, it's hard for me, I'm just speaking about me, to believe that this stuff was done by hand. Done by hand. Y'all hear that? Under tornado warning. That's the tornado sirens going on in the back. But anyway, and I say anyway, but I'm still paying attention. I don't think I'm just sitting here going good. But it's hard to believe that, looking at these tools right here, that they could do what we see today, the end result, the pyramid. It's hard looking at these tools. You know what I'm saying?
Wooden mallets, stone hammers, all of which are on display in the Cairo Museum in Egypt, which, because of their rarity, don't have a price tag. It'll be practically impossible to ever build something as magnificent in a lifetime using such tools. In fact, these tools were tested out by some researchers, and the results, well, see for yourself.
When Roger tries chisels made from bronze, the results are disappointing.
Nope.
As you can see, we're leaving a lot of metal.
Nope.
And very little stone is flaking out.
He trying.
Well, that was disappointing to watch. Let's see what happens when the team tries to cut granite using copper saw.
So how's this copper going to cut this granite?
We're going to use the saw in a reciprocating or backwards and forwards motor or get started.
So you're going to chip a groove,
A
and then you're going
hand
to
saw?
put the copper and slide it back and forth. But how, and that's going to cut the granite?
No,
Stone.
we're going to put sand inside the groove, and we're going to put this saw on top of the sand, and then let the sand do the cutting.
So the copper is only guiding the sand's doing the cutting.
Right.
Will we see any progress in our lifetime?
Yes, if you came back in an hour's time, you would see about a 4 millimeter cut down into the stone.
A millimeter and in a couple of hours time? No. I don't think this is the way. Maybe we using it improperly, because this can't be.
Back.
The sawing went wonderful once we switched over to using water with the sand. As you can see here, we achieved this in just a few days.
A few days? Are you kidding me?
A few
At that rate,
days?
nothing would be achieved. And then
That's the first time I've seen somebody use one of the tools, man. Look at this. A few days. Do you see that? Now, granted, we don't know how long it took them. You know what I mean? But, bro, a few days and that's all you got?
Are you kidding me? At that rate, nothing would be achieved. And then we have the mystery of how they actually lifted the stones 350 feet high. Graham Hancock hints that we might just be looking at a lost technology.
I don't know how they did it. All I know is they did it. I don't think anybody knows how they did it, how they lifted those stones, how they brought them up to that level. I think we're looking, again, at a lost technology.
Incomplete history? Located on the south side of the Euphrates Valley of northern Syria lies the ruins of an ancient settlement called Abu Huraira. During the years 1972 and 1973, this village had several archaeologists flooding in for the purpose of research. One archaeologist named Andrew Moore made a startling discovery when he noticed that there were signs of heavy burning in one particular area of the village. On thorough examination, he learned that the heavy burning was a result of an event that took place 12,000. Could this be true? Evidence does support the theory that a comet struck Earth about 12,800 years ago, as researchers have analyzed geological data from 4 different continents, particularly North America and Greenland, where the largest fragments are thought to have struck. Their analysis highlights excess levels of platinum, signs of materials melted at extremely high temperatures, and the detection of nanodiamonds known to exist inside comets and form during high-energy explosions. All of this evidence, according to researchers, supports the impact theory.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's going to be a lot more energetic than now. I mean, imagine your sea level rising at 3 or 4 times, at least, faster than we've seen rise in the last century.
However, several experts do not feel that this evidence that Graham points proves anything. Many researchers feel that if such a civilization existed, we would have been able to see some clear evidence that actually points to their existence. Because no matter how devastating an extraterrestrial impact might be, it is impossible that after centuries of flourishing, every last tool used, potsherd, clothing, writing, not to mention waste, would be completely erased. But one question still lingers around unanswered. What about the humongous structures we do not currently have an explanation for? Unexplainable structures. When we look at the conventional history of modern civilization, archaeologists tend to fix its date to about 6,000 years ago. Mainstream science has it that the megalithic structures were created by societies that were already agriculturalists. According to Graham, this must mean that these societies were generating surpluses that allowed specialists to devote their skills, time, and energy to crafting structures as massive as that. Well, according to Klaus Schmidt, a German archaeologist and prehistorian who led excavations at Gobekli Tepe from 1996 to 2014, he believes that enigmatic structures like the Gobekli Tepe served as temples of some sort, basically gathering places for peoples or tribes from miles around to perhaps bring offerings periodically. The strangest thing about these temples was that after they were finished, they were entirely backfilled with soil and rock, and a new, smaller temple was built on the mound that was produced. This continued for centuries, with each successive construction smaller than the one behind it, until the topmost structures were very small affairs with monoliths only a few meters tall. The site was then abandoned after covering over the remaining construction, which was revealed only in the 20th century. The really remarkable feature of Gobekli Tepe historically is that if Schmidt is correct in that the site was begun in 10,000 BC,
wow,
that would predate the Neolithic agricultural revolution by several thousand years. That means that it was built by Paleolithic people. Paleolithic people were supposed to be hunters and gatherers only, subsisting only through chasing down game on the plains and gathering wild grains wherever they could be found. However, Graham and Randall assume that it would be impossible for hunter-gatherers to be able to build something as massive as Gobekli Tepe. There must have been a civilization long ago with some technology capable of doing that. But who is to say that hunter-gatherers—
No disrespect to him, but I'm starting to learn not to underestimate, man, the ancient civilizations, man. Even hunter-gatherers from back then, I just can't, bro. Some of the stuff we've come across and we've seen, could you honestly sit there and just underestimate them? Say that I don't, you can say you don't think, but to say that they couldn't do it, I just can't go that far.
However, Graham and Randall assume that it would be impossible for hunter-gatherers to be able to build something as massive as Gobekli Tepe. There must have been a civilization long ago with some technology capable of doing that. But who is to say that hunter-gatherers wouldn't be able to build Gobekli Tepe? Plus, Gobekli Tepe was a ceremonial religious site, not a city, so there is no evidence that anyone ever lived there. So what now? Well, Hancock complains that conventional science is unwilling to accept a catastrophic explanation because it is mired in a uniformitarian notion of slow progressive change. It's false. Catastrophism is still prevalent in mainstream science, with theories ranging from the Big Bang to the moon's formation to meteor impacts to the asteroid that killed off the dinosaurs, to the many rapid collapses of civilizations described by Jared Diamond in his 2005 book, Collapse. So, scientists are not doing things in a slow, rigid manner. But there is something Randall suggested that, in our opinion, everyone should accept, and not just in science. He implied that we should stop being so complacent about our past. If we want to solve the mystery behind so many intriguing discoveries on Earth, we must be able to act and see things from multiple points of view. Because we happen to be living in a period of human history where we can do so if we so choose. What do you think? Do you feel that a lost technology existed that was owned by a lost civilization used to construct massive structures like the Gobekli Tepe? Tell us in the comment section below. Thanks for watching Factnominal, and we'll see you next.
I think that's what I'm leaning towards now as far as my theories goes with some of the things, the structures that were designed and built, pyramids, different things. I'm starting to believe in or lean towards a lost technology. You know what I mean? Not taking nothing away from them back then. You know, they had, you know, they say strength in numbers, and they had the numbers. Man, it's a lot. Not only to move the 70 tons then design it, smooth it out, cut it, form fit it, get it right. You know what I'm saying? Everything that went into the design that we see and know today, it's just hard to rule out technology, man. And maybe I need to also think about just they were able to get it done. Believe that they were just able to get it done by hand. So two things can be true sometimes. Maybe they had a lost technology, maybe they didn't, and maybe they did it by hand. I don't know. But those are the two things that I think about. So y'all get at me in the comment section though and let me know what you thought of this video. And stick around and stay tuned, man. If you enjoy it, hit the like button. Till next one, I'm gone. Peace.